Washington erupted on Monday morning, not from an economic order or a terrorist threat, but from a single sentence scrolling across every major screen. Rep. Jasmine Crockett launches probe into Trump's health transparency. The story spread like wildfire. Reporters swarmed the Capitol gates, a forest of microphones aimed at the steps where a woman in a black pantsuit, her face set with determination, emerged as if walking through fire. Jasmine Crockett, the Texas Congresswoman and rising star of the Democratic Party, looked directly into the cameras, her words clear and cold. "We have evidence suggesting a cover-up regarding the president's health. His erratic behavior, contradictory statements, and signs of memory loss cannot be ignored." It was as if the oxygen had been sucked from the air. Never before had a sitting member of Congress so publicly suggested a president was cognitively impaired. Crockett continued, "I am demanding that the White House physician, Captain Sean P. Barbabella, testify before the Oversight Committee. The American people have a right to know if the man with his finger on the nuclear button is lucid enough to hold it." Minutes later, the White House response was immediate and explosive. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, "Another witch hunt by the radical Democrats. My mind is stronger than ever. Their minds are the ones melting." And so began the storm that would cleave the nation in two. In the basement of the Capitol, lawyers pored over every line of the president's public medical records. The last release in February was just a few short paragraphs, with no neurological details. An anonymous source from Crockett's team whispered, "There was a supplementary exam in August, but it was never released." The leak spread like oil on water. CNN called it the biggest potential scandal since the questions surrounding Reagan's memory. Trump did not stay silent. In Pennsylvania, he stood before a sea of supporters, his voice booming. "I'm healthier than they could ever imagine. I can stand here for 3 hours straight." Well, they can't handle a 5-minute debate. Jasmine Crockett? She's just another loudmouth from the left. They call it investigation, I call it obsession. The crowd roared, cameras panned, and the likes and shares skyrocketed. Behind the scenes, the White House legal counsel sat opposite Dr. Sean Barbabella, the man who had reluctantly become the epicenter of the crisis. The medical officer stated flatly, "I will not comment on my patient." The phrase, "my patient," made headlines, immediately interpreted as a veiled admission of a cover-up. A few Republican congressmen quietly told reporters, "The president has been repetitive lately, losing his train of thought in closed-door meetings." But they wouldn't dare say it on camera. Crockett seized every wave of media attention. This isn't just about physical health, it's about honesty. If the White House is hiding something, it is deceiving the nation. The former civil rights attorney understood the power of language. She launched the slogan, "Right to Know." A viral video emerged. Rain and smoke over the Capitol dome, a close-up of a hand signing an executive order, then the words, "No one is above the truth." Instantly, a conservative network ran a split screen. Jasmine on the left, Hillary Clinton in 2016 on the right. The caption, "Another witch rises." The White House held a brief press conference. Under the flash of white-hot lights, the president's face was flushed. "I am sharper than ever. I remember every name, every number, every victory. They say, I forget, but they are the ones who forget that I won the election." A reporter shouted, "Sir, are you willing to release your full medical records?" He raised an eyebrow. "I have, many times. I don't need to prove myself to people who can't win at the ballot box." At the same moment, Crockett placed a thick binder before the committee. "We don't care who wins or loses. We care if that person is lucid enough to sign a declaration of war." Her voice echoed off the congressional stone like a metal bell. That night, America was truly divided. Television networks ran parallel realities. Trump smiling and giving a thumbs up at a rally. Crockett looking as solemn as a prosecutor before the committee. Fox News declared a blatant attempt to weaken the president before the election. CNN countered, "If there is something to hide, the American people have a right to know." But Crockett's strategic masterstroke was a legal gambit, forcing the White House physician to testify. Once his testimony was on the congressional record, the media debate would become evidence. If his testimony deviated from the president's public statements, the charge of perjury before Congress could shake the entire administration. Analysts called it a quiet but lethal blow. Crockett wasn't pushing, she was forcing her opponent to walk to the edge of the cliff himself. "Health is human, not political," she wrote in The Atlantic, "but when it is used to conceal, it becomes political." Trump understood he didn't want the investigation to go far, but his combative instincts drove him to counterpunch. "You want to call my doctor? Then call Biden's doctor too." The MAGA base roared as if they'd struck gold, but independent voters smelled deflection. The battle crossed borders. The Guardian wrote, "The question is not whether Trump is ill, but whether the American system has the courage to ask." In her third-floor office in the Rayburn House office building, Crockett wrote in her journal, "They fear the truth more than they fear weakness. That is how power falls." The Washington sky opened up, rain beating against the glass like the heartbeat of a republic in the grip of a fever. Washington became a laboratory of power. Every tweet, every frame of video was sharpened like a scalpel, designed to cut into public trust. The White House counterattacked with media technology, a video titled Stronger Than Ever, featuring warm lighting, a steady voice, and footage of the president reading a 15-minute report, intercut with him shaking hands with workers in Ohio. The hashtags number Trump Strong, number Fake Probe, and number Deep State Plot exploded. 50 million views in a few hours. A confused man can't speak for 400 sentences without a teleprompter, applauded supportive commentators. On Capitol Hill, Crockett's team analyzed every frame. 12 cuts, 3 lighting changes, a 2-second vacant stare. Her conclusion: we don't need to expose him, we just need to ask the questions. A short tweet appeared. On laws, in it is comment, intensive laws and 10. A short tweet appeared to the men. If everything is so transparent, why does it need so many edits? It ignited a second firestorm. CNN ran a segment called Doctor or Director, and Reuters published a sardonic headline: America's healthiest president still needs a film editor. Trump posted a selfie video from the Oval Office. I'm working, I'm stronger than ever. Jasmine Crockett, go worry about Texas. The phrase, I'm strong, Jasmine went viral, turning the health probe into a generational duel. Crockett stayed silent as a leak surfaced, medical evaluation postponed indefinitely by executive order, outrage erupted. Trump raged online. Crockett is staging a medical coup. The phrase dominated media, a doctor's brief denial. That is not possible. Split America's screens. Crockett released a 2020 Navy memo urging neurological checks. At a rally, Trump shouted, I remember every traitor, Crockett whispered, power fears being forgotten. The polling needles quivered. The Brookings Institution warned, truth is being privatized, packaged, and sold like a media product. Wall Street flinched. Investors feared that if America lost faith in itself, the dollar would lose its anchor. Beijing mocked, America once taught transparency, now it must relearn it. The public was exhausted. On MSNBC, someone said, I don't know who's telling the truth, I'm just scared. On Fox News, another said, I don't need truth, I need security. When fear replaces reason, its power no longer persuades, it only inspires belief. A leaked memo claimed parts of the president's medical exams were missing from official records. The White House said nothing, and silence became its own confession. Representative Jasmine Crockett spoke briefly, I don't care about politics, I care about accountability. A nation cannot call itself a superpower if it is afraid to ask if its leader is well. When asked if the attack might backfire, she replied, at least I won't have been silent. Trump, on the South Lawn, was overheard murmuring, they think I'm weak, but I've built my career on being underestimated. The phrase went viral, underestimated always. Crowds split across America, banners reading Truth First faced those declaring faith in Trump. In between, a child's sign asked, who's my president? As night fell, reflections of the White House and Capitol shimmered like twin mirrors over the Potomac. No gunfire, just a cold civil war of words. Crockett warned, if power can hide its health today, it can hide its crimes tomorrow. The nation divided between those who prize stability over transparency and those who believe transparency was stability. Trump's team launched the campaign, America needs strength, not spectacles. Images of soldiers and factories beneath the slogan, a weak man can't rebuild a strong nation. Crockett countered with one leaked phrase, strategic priority. The world took notice. Paris wrote, America hides its leaders' health like a battle plan. Brussels called Washington an unknown variable. In the streets, right to know and protect the commander, protesters clashed, 2 movements, 2 faiths, 1 barricade. A senator sighed. It's Watergate 2 without the tapes. Just data and social media. Then came the 7 seconds in Michigan. Trump touched his forehead, whispered, I'm fine, don't worry, and moved on. The internet turned those seconds into an event. Crockett's camp called it proof. Trump's called it a deepfake. Crockett told Congress, I'm not fighting a man, I'm defending a principle. Trump told Fox News, they're hiding their intent to steal power from the people. 2 poles of electricity met and sparked a storm. A historian observed, in Nixon's era, power fell because of an audio tape. In this one, power survives because of video. The lights of the Capitol and White House still burned, not as symbols of transparency, but of vigilance. And the question lingered, in an age where every word can be edited, does truth still matter, or only the power to edit it? If you still believe power must face the light, if you want to see how news becomes a weapon, share this. Because whoever controls the memory controls the future.